You've lost again and again and again. The lights are cut off, but you're still looking at your dream, reviewing it every day, and say to yourself, it's not over until I win. If you want to make your dream become reality, you've got to be hungry. You got to be hungry. I'm the one. No matter how bad it is or how bad it gets, I'm going to make it. Not over until I win.
Welcome
Four Horsemen. Woo!
to the Strong Marriage Live podcast.
Give it love.
Yes, my husband's excited because we are celebrating 31 years of blissful marriage.
31 years. That was
31
nice.
years.
It was nice. 31 years. We met in July. No, we
We
met in June.
May. We met in May.
Met in May.
We started dating in
Dated
June.
in June. And then got married in September.
Yes.
So this is our September of our, but we still only 31 years regardless.
Yes.
Meeting and getting married, 31 years.
31 years. So yes, you heard that right. We're over here talking to TikTok. Yes, you heard that right. We met in May of 1993. We started dating in June
Go Mo.
1993.
Woo! Mo.
And
Sigma.
I think we got engaged
Zeta.
around
Oh.
either July or August. But,
It was August.
and then we were
Got
married in September
A month later.
of 1993.
That was a lot of work.
1993.
That was a lot of work.
Yes, you heard that right. It was all in 1993.
And what we're talking about today is conflict resolution.
Conflict. We're going to show you.
How we were able to get through, because let me tell you, for all those that are in relationships, that all those that get together.
Oh, wait. We have to say who we are.
Oh.
Welcome, Strong Marriage Live. I am Coach Tanisha, and
I'm Coach Chris, your leadership coach.
And I'm your marriage coach. And we're here today to help you how to navigate conflict
Resolution.
Yes.
Because leadership is marriage.
Yes, it is.
It's not leadership in marriage. It's
Mhm.
leadership is marriage.
It is marriage. And why do you say that?
Why do I say that? Because
Yes.
everything that God has ordained
Mm-hmm.
has been business-like and business function.
Mm-hmm.
That business is taken, and now the source is no longer God, but the source is just man.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of stuff is capitalism, entrepreneurs just trying to get there and take as much and greed as you can.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not what business was set up like. Just like marriage was not set up the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, if you take marriage and business and put those together, that is the way God has ordained it for it to go. So everything that you do in business should be the same thing that you should be doing in your marriage.
For example,
you should be having annual meetings, getaways in your marriage, your relationship. You should be getting away at least once a year to somehow work on your relationship.
Right.
Some type of webinar, some type of conference, just like they
Some
send
type
you
of retreat.
some type of retreat, just like they do for you at work.
Mhm.
You should know your breast.
He's thinking about me.
I like the breast practices. You should know your best practices for marriage,
Yes.
your best practice for communication,
Mhm.
your best practice for sex and
Hey.
intimacy.
And we're going to talk about that today.
We are. But you should know the best practices they should do. You should have a one-to-one meeting with your spouse or your partner
Mhm.
at least once a month.
Yeah.
And check in at least once a week.
Get that check in so you can stay connected. The purpose of, or the function of marriage is oneness. You work together. There's a team mentality, just like in the business place.
Mhm.
When you are a team, there is a boss, and then you have subordinates underneath that boss, but they're all working for this goal that the boss has set.
And who is the boss of our relationship?
Jesus Christ.
That is it.
Jesus is the head of the man, and the man is the head of the woman,
Does that
his own
mean-
wife.
But does this mean that I rule over you?
No,
This means we work together.
we work together because we are both joint heirs
That's it.
with Jesus Christ.
Right.
So it's not, when I say he's over me, it doesn't mean like I'm less than, or what's the Constitution say, 3/5? We're not talking about that. We
That
are
is their
equal.
Constitution, ain't my Constitution. Yeah.
We are equal partners in this covenant.
Yes.
So Yes, that is kind of like the backdrop to what we're talking about today, because guess what? Everyone is going to come up against, be in, or sense some conflict.
Mhm.
Conflict is just inevitable. Life be lifing.
Life
We
be life.
are living in a life that is lifing, whether we want to believe it, learn from it, move forward from it, or not.
Yeah.
There is going to be conflict. So
we're going to talk about what we had to do,
yes.
because our first 2 years, if you have not been with us before, our first 2 years was not the best situation that you would want to start off a relationship with or a marriage with, because we didn't know each other. And therefore, she had came from living with her parents because she was 19, but she was in college. So she had everything in college, and she really wasn't off her own. I was 24. So 23 turned 24. I was 23. So I
was
also
19 turned 20. He didn't rob too much of a cradle.
Anyway, but we didn't know how to
communicate
and give to each other.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that we had to work on. And this is the conflict blueprint, is something that we worked on, and how we were able to make our 31 years and take that unblissful to turn to blissful. I can't even put into words how it was. We were on the edge of divorce.
Yeah, he had filed papers. He had filed papers.
And it wasn't for infidelity. It wasn't for infidelity. It was just lack of communication.
Yeah.
We were both headstrong and both were stubborn.
Yeah.
And it's something that we had to work out together. And I called her up the day before that night before we were supposed to go to the courthouse to sign the papers, and said, let's work this out.
Yeah. And why did he call? What made him call?
What made me call? It was not being able to complete the things that I started. It was knowing that we needed to. It's something that we had to work on together, and we had not been together enough to know each other to even work on something. When we first got married, we didn't even live in our own house.
No,
we stayed with my sister and her kids. Was my mama there?
Not yet.
No, she wasn't there yet.
She wasn't there yet.
Was my mama there? But like I said, it was crowded. It was tight. Our finances were where it was supposed to be.
The finances was awful. Like everything that you can expect to be thrown at a young couple was thrown at us all at one time. And
finance,
no one
money.
had ever taught us how to deal with conflict.
Yes.
Conflict
and sex, because sex was part of conflict, because that wasn't where it needed to be either.
Oh, it wasn't?
Well,
I was having a good time.
we were having good times, but because of lack of communication, it started to diminish too.
Oh yeah, because if I wasn't feeling it, we wasn't getting none.
No, it would just dry up.
It was it was gonna be all dry because you were being punished, and that is not what you do with sex.
No, it's not what you do with sex.
So, the conflict resolution, and I know we're saying resolution, but really what I want you to think is reconciliation.
Yeah. What's the difference between reconciliation and resolution? Even though the name of our book is conflict resolution, because we've made it through.
Yeah.
And we
actually have resolved.
Right. But initially you're going to be reconciling the issues so you can talk about them. So what's the difference between resolution and reconciliation?
So with resolution,
and you're going to hear somebody behind us walk in this door here in a little bit, and then they're going to act real surprised and be like, "Oh, I didn't know you were recording."
He was live, even though you do it live every single week.
They're going to walk in and they're going to be like,
"Maybe not."
"Oh, I didn't know you were recording."
Maybe not.
Or they're at the door right now listening. "Oh, I want to go see. I don't. What I'm going to do?"
Anyway,
I'm gonna clown him when he comes in the door.
Don't you do that? We're going to act like we don't even see him.
Okay.
So, resolution, of course, is solving a problem, resolving an issue.
Yes.
But there's some times in your life that you're not going to be able to solve it.
No.
There's at that moment you can't solve it. Maybe a month later you can't solve it, but you have to continue to be on one accord.
Yes.
So there's reconciliation. Jesus has given us the ministry of reconciliation.
Mm-hmm.
We should always be going, walking in love and moving forward.
Mhm.
And the only way you can move forward authentically is to reconcile. You're going to put your differences aside to be able to understand the other person's position and perspective. And then you're going to be willing to take up your cross
Mm-hmm.
and surrender. So if both of you are in a position of compromise and surrender, there will be reconciliation. Your relationship will be mended, and you will be able to love one another. So then the sex can come in, the intimacy can come back, and all that good stuff. You may not have a definitive answer to your particular issue, but with you two on one accord saying, we're not going to let this little issue take us out, it's us against this issue, then that means we're going to go forward together, and we're going to trust God
Mm-hmm.
to lead us to that resolution.
I just came up with an example
Mhm.
of resolution.
Okay.
So resolution, my wife is an accountant, just so you know that, and going from the business end, you have to reconcile your books,
Yes.
your numbers.
Mhm.
So you have to look at the numbers that you spent versus the numbers that you have in the bank.
Mm-hmm.
And you put both those numbers together, but they don't add up.
Mm-hmm.
So now you have to reconcile those two
With a journal entry.
until you come up with a resolution that what is correct.
Mm-hmm. That is true.
Oh, clap for me.
Clap.
That
Let's
was
go.
that was good. I
Let's
like
go,
that. Yes.
baby.
Boom.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
So yes, that's what you're doing. You are basically making for all the accountants out there, a journal entry so that you can continue to push forward in a authentic and amicable way where it's not faked, it's not forced,
Mm-hmm.
but both of you are on one accord, trusting God to get you that resolution. And guess what? Your position is, even if I don't get it, it's still us against that.
Yeah. So what we're going to go through today is the conflict resolution blueprint for you,
Yes.
so you understand that will guide you through resolving any type of conflicts that you have in your relationship,
Yes.
so you can do it in kindness,
Yes.
trust,
With love.
and respect.
Yes.
Respect.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing we're going to learn about is going to be identifying the root cause. Let me put that up on the screen.
I should have put that in there.
I could use my whiteboard. I got a whiteboard over here.
No. I'll get it now.
Imagine I'm on root cause. What is root cause? So in the business world, root cause means something trying to find out what causes that issue that's being a problem in your business.
Yes.
So I'm not able to get my work in on time.
Mm-hmm.
What is the reason why I'm not able to get my work on time?
Mm-hmm.
So I have to work backwards to try to figure out what it is and why I'm not able to do it. Root cause in marriage is we have to discuss the common reasons
Mm-hmm.
for conflicts in our relationship. So is that conflict going to be our marriage? Is it going to be the finances?
Mm-hmm.
Is it going to be our communication?
Mm-hmm.
Is it going to be our sex?
Mm-hmm.
Is it going to be our disrespect of each other?
Mm-hmm.
What is it that's causing that? What is that root cause that's causing the conflict in our marriage or the issue that we're dealing with right now?
Right.
So how do you identify these problems?
Well, we're going to ask why.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I angry?
Right.
Why am I sad? Why do I feel the way that I feel? And then you're just going to keep trying to niche down to figure out what exactly that root is, because you'll have surface reasons. Because most of the time you're angry because what? Not because you're mad, because you're hurt.
Yeah.
You're disappointed. You're sad. So you want to ask why until you niche down. I love that. Niche down to get to what the actual root is.
Right. Am I angry because you disrespected me?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it something else? Am I angry because somebody else had disrespected me before?
And it was a trigger.
And it was a trigger.
Mm-hmm.
And now anytime anybody does that same thing to me,
Mm-hmm.
it makes me feel a certain kind of way.
Right.
Or is it something that I've been trying to work on? Like a lot of times people are mad when other people are late.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that is because they had that problem with them being late,
Right.
and they had to work on it for themselves.
Mhm.
So when anybody else does it, now it causes them to be upset.
Right.
Also, communication.
Mhm.
So one of the things we have to do is we have to openly communicate with
Yes.
each other.
Yes. I think if couples can learn how to communicate effectively with one another, they can get out of anything else.
Oh my goodness, yes.
If you can correctly or effectively communicate, it's going to save you lots of problems. It's going to get you out of things
Mhm.
because the most important factor is we're one.
Yes.
We're on the same team
Same team with the same goal.
with the same goal, with each other's best interest, because your best interest
Mhm.
is mine and my best interests are yours.
So let's put it this way: in a business, you can't have the same. You can't have multiple ideas of how to get something done.
Right.
So if you two get together as a business,
Mhm.
you and me are the same person
Right.
with the same goal,
Right.
with the same ideas,
Yeah.
the same motto
Mhm.
and same vision.
Mhm.
There's nothing that can stand against us.
Exactly. I mean,
Nothing can stand against
there's
us.
so many scriptures in the Bible that say that point to that. In Ecclesiastes, two are better than one. Two
Mhm.
has a better report, a better outcome.
Where two or more gathered.
Where two or more together, there
Yes.
I'm in his name. One can chase 1,000, two
Two.
chase 10,000.
That's right.
I mean, it's telling you that the power of two,
Is way
if,
better.
if
Strong.
God said he made us one,
Mhm.
there is reason and purpose behind it. It's not just him saying you're one. He's not just talking about physically when you have sex, you're one.
No.
We're talking about we're three part, just like he is 3-part Trinity. We're 3-part, and all three of those parts
Yes.
intersect to become one.
So there's nothing that we can't accomplish if we
Right.
both put our mind to it.
If we're both doing
If
it
we're
together.
both doing it together,
Mhm.
our finances are met,
Mhm.
or anything that we've made as goal, our house, we can get a house, whatever you want to
Yes.
do. If you
Whatever
work
that goal
together,
is. Yeah,
you can actually achieve it.
you can do it.
But you have to be on the same goal. It means you have
Mhm.
to communicate. Like we said,
Right.
you have to communicate openly and not hide anything
Mhm.
because you both have the same goal.
Right.
And that's the reason why, like in business, you have that monthly meeting, that
Mhm.
weekly meeting,
Mhm.
that while you go,
That complaint counter or the feedback
feedback.
loop, whatever you would like to call it.
yes, Delta Plus. I
Yeah.
like Delta Plus, where you don't talk about the negative in the person,
Right.
but what type of opportunities you can have
Mhm.
in a relationship or how we can do things better.
Right.
Work on the I statement. Talk to me about I statements because
Yes.
that you do a great job with that.
I love the I statements because they helped me to make sure the focus is on what I'm feeling, what the event is, and what I need, rather than making him feel like he's the bad guy or me accusing him. We don't want to be Satan in this relationship. We don't want to be the accusers of the brethren. So,
Accusers of the brethren.
The accusers of the brethren.
So
You
don't
wanna do
accuse
that.
me
Right.
because I am you.
Hey, okay, because
I
we just
am
said
you.
we're one.
So I am you. So if I'm yelling at you, I'm
Mhm.
really yelling at myself.
Exactly.
A lot of times I try to change you
Mhm.
because it's something that I feel that I can't deal with.
Mhm.
So I'm not trying to change you for you. I'm trying to change
Right.
you for me.
Mm,
That's word, people.
that's word.
That's word. Not trying to change
Mhm.
you for you. I'm trying to change you for me.
Mm.
You can't change anybody. You
You
can't
cannot
change
change
anybody.
anybody. Guess what? God doesn't even force people to change. If
No.
so, everybody would be saved and going to heaven with
Yeah, and
him.
there'll be no wars or anything else.
Exactly.
But y'all
He
be
give-
effing up.
He gives you
Oh.
a choice, and therefore we must allow our spouse to have their choice too.
So give me a
I
scenario.
statements.
Give me a scenario
You
with
give
the I
me the
statement.
scenario.
Oh, I'll give you the scenario.
Because I'll go like,
Okay,
what?
scenario. You didn't do the dishes last night.
Oh,
Why
I
didn't
sure
you?
didn't. It's
Why didn't you do the dishes? You know, you do that all the time. You always go to bed and you don't do the dishes.
That's a lie. Okay. Okay. So if we were having a serious argument about the
Them
dishes, and I can understand because I am tired of looking at those dishes. And this week we've been celebrating, them dishes have been in the sink. It looks nasty.
So maybe that was a little too close to home.
So I Oh, it would be you with the I statements. But okay, this is what he would say
Yeah,
instead
I was
of
gonna
what
get
he said. Yes.
right. That's what I was doing. And then
So,
you're going to turn and say how I was supposed to say it.
okay.
You left the dishes in the thing. You always do that. You,
Mm.
you.
So, honey, instead of saying that, because now I feel attacked
Mhm.
and I didn't hear
Anything.
really what you were saying, I just, felt like you were doing this.
Scolded.
So
and pointing. Mhm.
and so instead of him saying you didn't wash the dishes, you didn't do that, I felt I felt annoyed
Mhm.
when I came into the kitchen this morning and saw that the kitchen was not clean. I really like to wake up in the morning and see a clean kitchen.
Mhm.
I need to wake up and see the clean kitchen to feel refreshed and to start the day.
And then to
When
go,
I see the kitchen dirty, I feel disoriented and I don't feel like I'm ready for the day.
yes.
So,
And then the next, take it to the next level would be,
mhm,
is there anything that I can do
mhm.
to help you with the dishes?
Did y'all see that?
Yeah. So,
Oh, TikTok, did you get that?
so
Okay,
I took
he
it
just
on
added
me
another
to take it
level.
to the next level. Is there
Mhm.
anything that I can do to help you with the dishes?
Now, what does that do to the listener? Well, the listener actually heard how their partner felt. They knew everybody knew I didn't do the dishes. I hit the mic. I didn't do the dishes. I already know I didn't do the dishes because I didn't do the dishes. So by him not saying you didn't do the dishes, with the little attitude and the neck roll and all that, but saying how he felt because the dishes were not done, it makes me want to be like, you will never see a dish in a sink. Okay. We're going to be at somebody else's house. And if they have a dish in the sink, I'm going to take care of that too. Because he has now expressed to me how he feels. And remember, we're in this together.
We are in this together.
I do not purposely wake up and say, today I'm going to see how I'm going to make my husband just feel awful. No, I'm his helpmeet. I'm here to make sure that his life is better because I'm in it.
Is that why you have the conversations and the communication each week when y'all meet?
Yes.
And y'all talk about how your week went, what's the plans for the following week?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So that we will know how to support one another.
Be on the same page.
Be on the same page. We know where things are, where things stand.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're just meeting and say, okay, these bills were paid, these bills are up next, here's what's coming up, this is how much you have to have conversations about those things.
You can't hide it, because if you don't talk about it, it just grows and grows and grows.
Mm-hmm.
And if it grows too big, it becomes that what's that one that you say? The little foxes that spoil the vine.
There
you go. And we don't want that to happen. You don't want to become a monster in your own house.
You don't.
Because monsters grow. They start in their bed and get bigger and bigger.
Those internal conversations you have, because the accuser is coming for your relationship.
Mm-hmm.
The devil does not like relationships.
Yep.
God designed us for relationship with him and relationship with others. So he is always in the mix trying to corrupt those relationships, pervert those relationships, and make them harmful and toxic instead of beautiful and blissful. So use I statements. When we started using I statements,
made a difference.
It makes a whole difference. You can actually hear what the person is saying to you.
Yeah.
Because if you go, you didn't do those dishes and you didn't do that and you didn't do that. All I heard was you are bad. You are awful. You didn't do something.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants to hear that.
Nope.
But if you say, I felt this way when this happened, I'm listening.
Yes.
How did you feel? What happened? Girl, who did it? Because now I'm like, I'm going to defend you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to come to your rescue. Who did it? Oh, it was me. Let me get them dishes. Oh, it was me who hurt you. What's that Prince song? Where you gonna come to me even if it's me who hurt you?
That's a good song.
Yes.
It's a good song.
It is a good song.
Good song.
Yes.
So the next thing that we have to work on is, of course, practicing empathy.
Yes.
So before you can ever start saying the communicate openly,
Mhm.
you have to actually understand what the other person's feeling like.
Right. And you have the best example of empathy.
You keep saying that.
Yes.
You're empathizing with me right now.
No, I'm
So-
for real. That's so for real. So, I'm gonna
So
let him
imagine
say it.
yourself, imagine you walking and I see my spouse
Mhm.
and she's down in a hole.
Yes.
And I look down in the hole and I look at her and I say, oh, you're in the hole. So I climb down the hole and I sit down in the hole with her. That's me feeling what she feels in the hole. That's empathy.
Mhm.
Sympathy is if I stay on top of the hole, I look down and say,
Oh, that's
oh,
so sad.
that's sad. You're down in the hole. Oh,
And walk on.
and walk on. What you have to do is have empathy
Mhm.
and sympathy.
Yeah.
So I have to be able to go down, know how she feels in a certain situation,
But have a ladder to get
have
us
the
back
ladder
up.
to get back up and pull her out of the situation that she is in.
Yes. Yes. So you need empathy in order to even do what I just talked about with the I statements. Because
Mhm.
if you are not empathetic and someone gives you the I statements, I mean, you're
What
gonna
do
be
you-
like,
So
okay,
what? And I don't
dishes,
get
the dishes wasn't
dishes,
done.
dish.
Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't do the
You can
dishes.
get some disposable.
Well,
Mm.
okay. Because we've been there before. I think I got disposable.
did.
I got
I was
disposable.
like,
Oh, you want the dishes clean? Well,
Mm.
you buy some disposable dishes then. So when we
Mhm.
eat after he cooks, then
she would just throw them away.
you can throw away.
But that's not good.
That's not good. We did
That's
it with
not-
clothes too. Oh,
Yeah.
I ain't got time to do laundry.
That
throw them
laundry
away.
piled up.
Yeah.
Stacks and stacks.
Stacks on
Stacks
stacks.
on
And I said, you
stacks.
know what? Throw it away.
But we had to work it out. We had to understand, and I had to put myself in her situation. What does it feel like to actually have to be looking at the kids? You got 4 kids, you got the dishes, you have all this stuff here, and you're trying to manage a household and go
Yeah.
to work. Well, that's not fair.
Yeah.
That's not fair. It's a
There's a
lot
lot.
of stress and everything. Or when you weren't working, but you're stuck in a house all day
All
long
day with
with
4
kids
little kids.
yelling and moving, and you got to keep active with them. It's hard to clean a house. It's hard to do everything. You
With those 4 kids,
with any kids,
I just learned.
and a dog, and a dog,
and 2 dogs.
and there's one dog.
And fish and all that. But
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
learned after
Turtle,
30
frog.
something years, it was my kids who made that house messy,
Yes, yeah,
right?
yeah.
It was the kids, because I was like, man, I'm not doing a good job. No, them kids didn't do a job at all.
because we didn't train them the right
Yeah,
way we should have
we
trained
didn't
them.
train them.
Because you have to train
Yeah.
a child up the way, but we didn't communicate also
Right.
openly about that.
Yes.
And it took us a long time, because you're not the
Mhm.
person I married.
Mhm.
I'm not the person you married.
Yeah.
I mean, when I got married to you, oh, you got potential. You have potential. I know you could do this, this, and this. Oh, you're going to school. You can be an accountant. You can do this CPA. And what was the word that you told me?
Don't you put all that on me.
You always say potential. And it's not about potential.
It was about the expectations I
Yes.
felt him placing on me.
So when
that
you go
we
with
didn't have
somebody,
conversations
You go
about.
with somebody, you become part of them.
Yeah.
You build them into the wife that you want, or the spousal relationship you want,
That's right.
the husband that you want. Because that can be the person, you can build the greatest person in the world if you're able to work with them.
Yes.
But you can have the worst person in the world if you refuse to work with them.
That's right. That's right.
Ooh, that's good. I'm
That
gonna
is great.
write a book on
that's
that one.
another one.
That is
Okay.
nuggets right there.
All right. Nuggets.
Yeah, but when you get married and you have a spouse, you can create the greatest person in the world
yes.
that's made just for you. You're not gonna meet the person made just for you,
right.
but you can build that person that can be perfect for
You're
you
creating your soulmate.
all the way through ever.
Yes. All the way through ever.
Through ever.
Forever and a day.
So let's go ahead. Empathy and role play and share. Oh, we did that. We did role play.
We did role play
Mhm.
when we talked about the I statements. We did 2 in 1.
Yeah. So empathy mapping is how you're listening to your partner,
Mhm.
and how you use empathy maps to better understand the partner's feelings. So empathy mapping means that when I'm talking to Tanisha and I'm talking about what it is that she's feeling, I have to listen to her.
Mhm.
And by listening to her, when she gets to a certain point, picture myself in the same situation as her.
Right. and seeing how would I feel in that situation.
Because you can't understand where you are on a map till you know where you start at the map.
Mhm.
So I can never reach the destination if I don't know where I'm beginning.
Yes. It may be hard for some people because
Yeah, it is. It's not easy.
I can't read a map.
Well, marriage isn't easy. Communication for a lot of people aren't easy.
Yes, communication isn't easy.
It isn't easy.
I guess they got root cause up there. We went on to several others.
Well, now we're staying calm and being respectful when you're arguing.
Oh yes.
Are you communicating?
Yes.
So
Stay calm.
one thing that I always like to do to maintain my composure is that I know there's no point to actually arguing.
Mhm.
If you know you're wrong, what's the point of arguing and trying to change the other person's mind if you know
Right.
you're wrong?
You know you're wrong.
If you know you're right,
What's the point?
what's the point of arguing because you know you're right?
Yeah.
So you let that person, if you're right, understand that you know that you're right. I know that I'm right. And if I need to let you understand and see what happens,
Mhm.
then I'll sit here and I'll wait.
Yeah.
And then we'll see what happens together.
We're gonna see.
We're gonna see what happens
We're gonna
together.
see.
And I'm not gonna say, I
told
told
you
you
so.
so. See,
Mhm.
you should have listened to me. I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna say, work it out and say, oh, okay, so this is what happens. This is it. Next time, this is what we're gonna do.
Right. And that's what wives really have to do when we talk about submission. Now, don't get it twisted because the Bible says we submit one to another.
Yes.
But we get that specific instruction as wives to submit to our husband because we have to be reminded that he is the head.
Mhm.
You have to have an order because, like we said, there's going to be times where you're going to differ on how something should be solved.
Yes.
And maybe you can't come to the conclusion of which one is better or which one you should take. Therefore, he will have the final say. And then I am to buy in.
Mhm.
I get on board.
Even
with
if you
it.
don't agree.
Even if I didn't,
Just like
if I feel that's not it.
Just even at work, if the
Mhm.
boss or the
Mhm.
manager or whatever makes a decision,
Yeah.
and I don't agree with it,
You still got to
I
get on
still
board.
got to get on board and do it,
Or leave the company.
or leave the company. And I ain't leaving the company
Right.
because
Right.
it's just you put too much effort and time into it.
Into it.
So it's all right to sit back and just
Mhm.
listen.
You got
And
to
just
buy
wait.
in, and then you have to, submit. You submit,
Mhm.
you surrender, and then you are once again on board, pushing for the goal.
Yes. So we've been talking about conflict resolution,
Mhm.
a blueprint, and that's
Yes.
one of the books that we have in our store.
Yes.
So go check it
Fan
out.
store,
Yeah.
fan.store.
We also have this on Amazon. It's called
Yes.
Brutal Courage.
That's Brutal Courage.
Very good book. Talk about the book.
So,
It's
in
her story, not
Brutal
my story.
Courage, this is a book of 26 different stories. And all these stories, trigger warning, are tragedies, trauma, but they all end in triumph. So this is a heavy book, and not just when I'm talking about in pages, but the actual contents. But it's about us surviving. It's about us receiving strength from Jesus in order to get over all the traumas of life.
That's rape. That's abuse. That's
Drug addiction.
Drug addiction.
Yeah.
It's
Trafficking.
Yes.
Yeah.
And let's talk about this one. How we got through the kids.
This. If you want to know how to raise godly children, this is the book for you.
Well, look at it's all blurry on that one.
It is blurry.
It's called The Cure for Adolescence.
Yes.
There it is. The Cure for Adolescence.
Applying biblical principles to your daily life. And it is all about, basically, it's all my kids' business. Okay.
It is.
Going
Tell them
from
all.
little kids. Yeah. I got approval. They each read their own chapters
Mhm.
before I published the book. But it goes through and it basically, it does two things. It teaches your children to have a relationship with God in small sections, so devotional. So what I would do or what a small group can do is each day or each night, I would put the kids to bed, and it would be part of our bedtime routine. We would read this devotion, we would have the scriptures, and, so those things, but they got in the habit of, okay, so every day I should be praying to God. Every day I should be communicating with him. And then we also develop memories together. So it's a beautiful book for you and your kids. So from tweens on up to your kids in college. So even when my kids started to go off to college, they had their copy, I had my copy, you turn to it, and we're still going to do it. It's great for small groups as well. So if you have a youth group at church, this would be perfect. Mm-hmm. Every Sunday you can do that, or whenever you have your small group sessions, you can do that. Wonderful, wonderful book.
So what we're doing is we're laying out the different game plans and different tools and toolkits that you can have to help with your relationship. Yes. So not only from the very beginning, but it's all deals with communication, mm-hmm. dealing with trauma and how you process the trauma, mm-hmm. dealing with communication with your kids, dealing with sex.
Communication about sex.
Yes, because you have to communicate about sex too, because communication brings closeness, brings trust, which increases sex.
Yes. So intimacy is basically the way you communicate. So if you're communicating effectively, you're going to feel sparks. You're going to feel things in your physical body, because that is exactly what the way God designed it. So there's a lot of things that we see and hear about sex that are not true. This devotional is to help you break away from all the things, all the propaganda that is not true. And it's biblically based, what you should be thinking about sex, how important it is in your marriage, because let's get it clear. Mm-hmm. If you are not married, you should not be having sex. Sex is designed by God for a husband and his own wife. So this book is a 21-day guide for married couples to get from blah to blam in the bedroom.
And then on top of that, I have an ebook out called The Pleasure.
Yes, the Pleasure Code.
The Pleasure Code, which is the science of the oranges.
He says oranges, but he's talking about oranges. Orgasm.
Hey, you can't say that on. hey, you're trying to get us. But it's oranges, and it's different things that you do in order to increase the intimacy that you have in your relationship.
Yes.
The Pleasure Code, and it's years of research.
Yes.
And
we did some research this week too, so if we look a little tired,
but it is something that is really important in your relationship to know the correct things to do that you both can enjoy. Yes. It's because it's not about you and it's not about me. It's about both of us enjoying the intimacy that we can bring.
And all the big O's that come along with it. This is Marriage 101. This book is like a supplement. This is actually the journal, because the book is a little bit smaller, but it's like a little guide. You know, when you go to college, your professor gives you a syllabus so that you know exactly what's going on in class. What are the important things that you should know? The Marriage 101 booklet is like that syllabus on marriage. It's going to teach you the basics and why they are sexy, because you don't think communication is sexy. You don't think your commitment to Christ is sexy. You don't think that loving and respecting your spouse is sexy, but it is, because that is the basic blocks for intimacy, which is sexy. So when you have all of those basics, you will know exactly what sexy is and how your marriage can benefit from it. So when I talk about marriage supports, this is one of those that will support you in your marriage. It will support you in your relationship.
Yes. And just remember, so the books are also on Amazon. You can see them on our Stand store, Chris Zariah. Those are our ebooks, but these will be available soon for ebook, just so you'll be able to have it. But this is like I said, it's a toolkit. It's part of our onboarding marriage toolkit that we're going to be having for everybody. And it covers 8 different sections, and altogether it's each one has about 8 chapters in it. But we'll release that time for time. But also we have our journal guide, which is our dream manifestation journal, and this teaches you how to understand what your dreams are, because if you have a dream that you need to write it down. Every time you have a dream, you need to write that dream down so that you understand what's going on. And in our dream journal that we have here, help me with the finger. It tells you exactly how to follow.
Oh, I can't see it.
You can see that.
Yeah,
Anyway, it shows you how to follow and how to write down your dreams and how to put them down organized so you understand what's going on.
So you can be a Daniel and interpret those dreams.
So in 30 days, you can look back and say, oh, this means this because it relates. And every 30 days, you look at your dreams, understand what the line is in your dream. And then once you understand the line in your dream, you understand what is real, what is spiritual, and what to follow. Because God talks to you in your dreams.
Yes.
It's easier for him to talk to you in your dreams than while you're awake.
Right.
Because now you have all that, your spirit is there.
You're still.
Don't open your spirit to a whole bunch of things at night. That's the
Right.
reason why they say don't open yourself to deviations and demonic things. Careful what you listen to, because you open your spirit up, and when you sleep, God can talk to you. But if you open up yourself to the wrong thing and tarot cards and psych, you will get talked to by the
Crystals
wrong
and
thing.
sage.
Understand your source.
Chanting.
Understand your source. Otherwise, you will make a mistake. But God talks to you in your dreams, and you must be able to understand and write it down. This allows you to write down your dreams, understand the line that it's coming through, and be able to turn it back around so you can understand what the vision is from your dream. So now you can take your dream to vision, your vision to reality, and actually reach the things that you want to, because now you have your spouse with you.
Yes. On your team.
Understanding what your dream and what your vision is, and then you can actually achieve those things.
Yes.
So you also have this one, which is for those other people, the Dream Catcher's Guide, which does the same thing with your dreams. And then you have the other one, which is my favorite cover, which is Dream, Belief, and Manifest.
Isn't that pretty?
I love that one.
So pretty.
Oh, yes. But those are just some of the things that we have. We have around 70 books that we will be releasing. Together and solo. But there's a lot of things that we have a lot on marriage,
right?
Anxiety, imposter syndrome, and leadership.
All the kind of tools to help you both in business and in marriage. Definitely with relationships. And that's how we want to help all of you. Because
it all affects everything. Everything is a domino. Everything is related. So if you're having problems at home, you'll have that same problems when you go to work. You're having problems at work, it comes back at home, which means it happens in the bedroom, and it happens with your kids.
You don't want it in your bedroom.
No, all the things become a domino. It starts stress. You start feeling underappreciated, undervalued.
Right.
At home, you feel that at work,
right.
And then it starts compounding, and you start getting anxiety.
Yeah.
You start getting those situations that it's just hard to deal with.
Yeah. So you don't want that.
You don't want that. This is it for conflict resolution. We talked about that. We still have so much more, and we'll stay on this topic every Saturday at 1:00 so that you understand what conflict resolution is. Get our book. Like I said, it's on TikTok. It's one of the things that you can download. And
the pleasure code.
The pleasure code.
Communication blueprint.
Yes, the pleasure code is, like I said, if you want to read it, download it. Conflict Blueprint is actually on Amazon. Like I said, if you have the Amazon Kindle free thing,
you can start reading it.
You start reading it now and not have to pay for it. But if you don't, right now it's for $10. Normally it's $25. Go take a look, read it, help your marriage, help your relationship with everything you're doing. And of course, if you're a nurse, bam!
If you're a nurse and you want to get ahead, you want to make sure that you ace in those interviews, you need to get this, okay? Yes. He has years of experience. He's been with the top healthcare companies. He knows what they're asking. He knows how to answer those questions.
Get that admin job. Yeah. Take the pressure off of you. Get a different type of pressure. Make more money. We went from $17.35 as $17.15 as an ER tech, $17.35 as a registered nurse in Kentucky, all the way to six figures in the 200s right now in admin in California. Yep. But all that is possible. But you got to know, mastering nursing interviews from RN to administrator with real questions, answers, and rationales.
Yes.
And it has everything here, all the questions that you could imagine that they could ask you. like emotional intelligence, one of the questions they're going to ask you is, how have you adapted your leadership style to meet the needs of a diverse team? Another question they're going to ask, what methods do you employ to ensure you remain approachable and supportive to your team members?
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to ask you these type of questions when you go in. How better is it for you to know the questions before you go in?
Right.
Oh,
To
man,
be prepared for it.
it's if I had known this
Right.
beforehand,
Mm-hmm.
how much? Oh, let me
Right.
tell you, I would be so much further along than I was.
Right.
Oh, it'll cut at least 15, 20 years off.
Oh, wow.
At least 15, 20 years. So much. But guys, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for staying with us for an extra long
It was
episode.
an extra long episode, but we will be here every Saturday. This is our anniversary weekend.
Yeah.
And hopefully next week we'll be I know November we're taking off on the boat, but next week we should be, I don't know where we're going. Probably Mexico again. Anyway, if we do, we'll talk to you from Mexico and have a good time at the river in the Riviera.
We will see.
We will
I might
see.
forget about y'all.
I don't know.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today on our extended episode. I am Coach Tanisha,
I'm Coach Chris.
and we are just here to remind you that you really can have the marriage of your dreams. You just have to build it.
Now take on the day, and remember, pleasure code
the pleasure code,
and
the communication blueprint.
now
Bye.
peace.